one of the most important lessons that I've learned in this new journey, pursuing a healthier life and lifestyle for myself, is pertains to stress. Um, the unfortunate thing is that it is inevitable. It's just a part of life. And um, in some of the books that I've read, specifically Outlive by Peter Attia, which is a book that dives into the four horsemen diseases, basically, that, most people die from. Um, and that's part of the book. And then the other part is just the longevity factor and like how to prolong your life and what ways to do that. And in that book, it talks about in those four horsemen diseases, that stress is a huge factor, and that it's a part of life. And actually, we are meant to like be in stressful situations. And one thing, like, I still to this day sometimes look at it in a negative connotation when there are actual positive stresses. Like, it's not a bad thing for you to undergo stress. That happens if you think about even as in human nature and what our purpose is, or where we came from to how we've evolved over time. But you think about hunter-gatherer days where we're looking for food, we're caring for our children, we're in a community. We didn't have all the technology that we have today to make our lives more comfortable. So we often were faced with a lot of stress. And we still have it to this day in different ways. It shows up even though we've come so far with technology. For example, the weather being too hot, or too cold. That can stress you, but then you have things to cope with that stress. As if you're freezing cold and it's winter, you have blankets, you have fire to then counter that. Or you have warmth and comfort with family and your tribe and whatnot. You have warm drinks to ingest, or, to indulge in to keep your body warm. You have fat that you can consume and eat that will help provide essentially like padding to your body and warmth, right? So even when we talk about stress, just in our current day, it's similar in fashion, right? To what I was just saying with being warm when it's cold. But if you have, you're stuck in traffic and it's stressful, what are some things that you can do to counter that? And I thought about that a lot today because we are in a time, I posted a short today, a video on putting gas in my car, to where I remember being in like high school and I would count change. I remember I went to like the counter and had like $2 in change to put like gas in my car so I could drive to school and back. And I just thought it was funny that now I'm like looking through my purse, getting out all the cash that I have, not so much to like scrounge up for money, but in the sense of like getting rid of the cash that I have on me, because otherwise I'm just going to go deposit it in the bank. Why not just use it? Of course, I'm not going to get the cash back credit on my credit cards, which is what I typically do for gas. But I was like, why not just get rid of this cash? And I'm like, thumbing through my wallet and receipts and whatnot to pull out the little bits of cash that I have in there that have compiled for various reasons. I don't even know why, but I scrounged up $46.90 something cents. Actually, it was $55 and change, but then we bought some snacks. And I went in the gas station because I chose Love's. They have a rewards card where you save 10 cents a gallon if you use a rewards card. However, none of their outside panels, whatever, the machines, the detectors, they don't read the barcode on their app. So it's stupid, but it makes you go in. And then of course I bring my daughter and we get snacks. Anyway, but yeah, so today we just live in a time where like filling up your tank of gas. Like everything's so freaking expensive. That in itself is a stressor. So what are some things that we can do to relieve that? And they don't even need to be directly related to money or anything, relating spending money or that costs money. But today I made sure, and I've been intentional the past few days of going and taking time and sitting in the sauna. A lot of days I'll go and walk or lift some weights and then also do the sauna and or walk, lift weights, walk, and do the sauna. But I find that although that in a sense is like an aerobic exercise and it is some type of stress on the body, it's also very calming. I focus on my breathing, I'm reading. I can't bring my phone in. I don't know how ladies sit in there. And the saunas are in the locker room, so it's only ladies in ours. So and the men have their own. But how they're on their phone and their phone doesn't overheat. Mine overheats after like 10 minutes. So that's odd to me. I don't know if it's because I have a small phone or what. I don't have a big, it's older, but anyway, that's another conversation. But just thinking about all the ways that we can counter stress. So that's a big one for me that I've been incorporating into my daily habits. I don't get to do it every day, but whenever I get the chance, I'm going to take time out to go sit in the sauna, work on breath work, read, relax, no technology, just sit there, right? And then it's hot, it's uncomfortable, but it also, I don't know, I enjoy that. I think I'm meant to be in a tropical climate on a beach and yeah, not enduring this chilly weather in May. But another thing, having some tea. I've been doing a ritual in the evening of having like a warm tea, which I love, which I do periodically, but I've just been more intentional about it. Another one is reading to get my mind off of the to-do list, the constant ripping and running and all of that, to just take time out and reading. I did set a goal to read a book per month, and I've already failed that, but it's okay. I'm almost finished with this book that's just taken a long time. I think, again, you've probably seen it. It's The Body Keeps the Score. It's very good. It's just very informational and like doctor talk, and it's taking me a long time. So I'm going to be sure to pick a maybe fictional or just something that's more fun for my next book, or maybe just a short book. I have a few short books. I have a whole stack over there on my bookshelf that I want to tackle. And I'm setting up a time limit of all the books I want to read before my lease is up, because then I have some changes coming. We'll talk about that eventually, but I'm preparing myself for that time in my life and transition into some change and something new. Another way that I've incorporated relieving stress is to, of course, lifting weights. There's something to the focus and attention that you have to have on your form, the weights when you're lifting heavy, and you have to let everything else sit outside of your brain and your mind to focus on the task at hand, the weight you're lifting, like I said, your form, proper form, your breathing, all of that throughout the workout, that you don't have the time, space, energy to be thinking about random tasks or things that you might when you're maybe on a walk or driving. So that is something also that I do to counter the stress in my life. And I think that that's something important that we need to all focus on, is how are you going to do that? Another way is for me, at one point in my life, I did really enjoy cooking. Now having kids and everybody wants something different and they like the mac and cheese and nuggets type thing. And not always what I want, or it sounds horrible, not what I want to eat, but not what I consider to be like a healthy meal. So that having shakes that replace a meal, they're quick, easy, and I know that I'm getting a nutritional, meeting my macros and some nutrition. Well, and there goes that. The little one came up and I was like, pause. So as I was saying, there are just ways that you can simplify your life. And by doing that, I think that you're creating less stress, opportunity for stress in your life. If it means that you're replacing a meal with a protein shake, then that's a great idea. If it means that you're taking time to relax with a cup of tea, great idea. Going to the sauna or sitting in a sauna where there aren't any distractions and you can focus internally, and maybe breath work to relax, working out, going for walks. Maybe it means sometimes I'll take my calendar and just cross things off and say, oops, I overbooked myself, not coming. Because a lot of times we see a small gap in our calendar or an opportunity to squeeze something in. That all adds up. And I know that overwhelms me when I see a busy calendar. And it's okay. It's all right to back out of something or to say no when you've overexhausted yourself. And even, you don't even really need to say an oops or I overbooked myself. There's nothing else that needs to be said, is that you can't make it, right? Maybe to give them that respect of letting them know. But yeah, so stress is not going anywhere. It is because it can, if it's held onto and continuously, like you just keep adding stress without balancing it, that's when we run into health issues, and it's even counterproductive to a workout. If your levels of stress are high and not managed, then you may not see the results of maybe shedding some pounds, building muscle, leaning out, or bulking, or whatever your goal is. They will be blunted when your stress levels are high. And one other thing is just being thankful and being in the moment. So being thankful and having gratitude for, if you're focusing on stress and what's happening at that moment, look at the things that you are grateful for and things that are working for you in your favor. Because in a stressful moment, like, tensions could be high, your thoughts, your emotional, could be irrational, but taking a step back and thinking of all the things, our breath, the sun, sunlight, sunshine, the weather, your protection, your comfort, your home, your family. There's always something positive and something to be thankful for. So I hope that gave some clarity. If you're looking to get into a fitness program or any type of health and wellness, stress is going to be a constant factor in all things that you try to do and change and get better at. So it's definitely something that you want to tackle head on as soon as you can, and no matter what facet of your life you're trying to change. So I hope that message was received well. Let me know in the comments what you think and how you're countering and balancing your stress in your life, and maybe how it shows up for you if I missed something, or a way that you handle and balance your stress in a positive way. Yeah, and then also, how could I have not mentioned this, but any stressful situation. I know having a bunch of stress and crazy things in my life happening at once led me to therapy. There's always benefits in talking to a friend when you don't have a therapist or someone that you can confide in. And then, yes, seeking a therapist. There are resources out there to have therapy at no cost if you qualify. And then see what kind of benefits you may have with your job or insurance. I think that that's very beneficial to talk, verbalize, and get things out and off your chest and not bottle them up and suppress them, because then that, as I'm learning in the body keeps the score, to repress them, it's somewhere in you that it's going to cause dis-ease. So alrighty, well, that's all I had for you today. I'm going to finish drinking my tea, and I will chat with you hopefully tomorrow. I took a couple days off. Things have been I won't say crazy, but busy, and summer is coming, and yeah, our calendars are filling up. So now's a good time to clear some of that stuff off the calendar and take some time for you to focus on yourself and balancing out life. Alrighty, have a good night or a good day.